5.1 FM, Indy's Inspiration Station.
The following is a paid program. The views and opinions expressed are those of the sponsor and do not necessarily reflect the views of Radio 1, WTLC AM 1310, 95.1 FM, and its management.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Unity in the Community. It's rainy in central Indiana, in Indianapolis. Hopefully you're staying dry today, but good temperatures. And if the temperatures were lower, it would be snow and we'd be in trouble. But there is issue of flooding, so watch out. Make sure you're not driving into puddles. You could end up with some problems with your car. A lot of times people will do that and they think they can just drive right through it, but some cars are not equipped for that kind of water stress and you could be disabled. And there are some potholes out there. So water could be covering those up and you could have some bent rims and tires blown out. I did see DPW out a few weeks ago filling up potholes. But during this season, when it rains like it does, what gets put in sometimes gets washed out. So if you see places where there are potholes, call Mayor's Action Center. Emails work really well so they can locate where these problems are. And sometimes there's a lot of complaint about potholes. But you have to understand, Indianapolis has one of the largest land mass in the United States of America, somewhere around about 16th or 17th largest land mass, 400 square miles. Imagine trying to cover all of that with the staff that we have. So one of the things I try to do is get all the facts in place before I draw a conclusion, because it's easy to go out, see 2 or 3 potholes, and then bash the administration or the city. Sometimes that's necessary. I don't do that. But I think when you look at the whole sphere of things, there's a lot of potholes out there, and they did get out there. And they were out there filling them up. So if you see something like on Carroll Road, be careful on Carroll Road. I don't know if Carroll Road is Indianapolis' responsibility or not, because it's kind of right there on the edge of the city. But it's really bad on Carroll Road right now. So slow down and make sure you're paying attention, because there's some big ones over there. Anyway, welcome to the program. Thanks for joining us on this afternoon. It's good to have you all out with us wherever you are. And please tell somebody to tell somebody to tell somebody that we are on. I got some great guests going to be joining me here in just a few moments to talk about some of the things that they're doing. We are still focused on voter education and making sure that you are ready to vote. You are the most powerful person in the city, no matter how much money you have. If you are a registered voter, you are the most powerful person in the city, because no one can serve at the capacity that they're currently serving without you. All of our votes are like snowflakes. The more of us that do it, the bigger the pile. Snowflakes in and of themselves, just 1 or 2 flakes don't cause problems. It's when they all start falling together that they have weight. So you, as the voter, have weight. We all vote together, and we have a lot of people registered. So kudos to all of you all. We do a pretty good job of getting people registered. And now we want to get folk out to the polls to vote. Can't tell you who to vote for, but we can give you all the information that you need so that you can make your own decision. And that's coming up May 5th. And of course, in November, but May is just around the corner. 2 very important dates coming up. Of course, it's Women's Month this month. So we're celebrating all women in America. And we couldn't do anything without the women that we have. We have some great women in our cities and in our lives. And so we thank God for the women. But you got April 15th coming up. That's your deadline to file your taxes. Do not disregard that. We still have an IRS, y'all. And, Al Capone, they couldn't get him for racketeering. They couldn't get him for murder. They couldn't get him for moonshine and all the stuff they said he was doing. But they did get him for tax evasion. So, and a lot of people are going down for tax evasion. You don't have to do that. Pay your taxes. If you get a bill, make arrangements, do the best you can, and make sure you stay compliant. But you are the most important person in the city of Indianapolis because you are the voter, you are the citizen, and you are needed. Let's have a word of prayer. Father, we thank you for this time of fellowship. We thank you for unity in the community. Jesus, you prayed that you and the Father would be one and that you would have unity among those who are following you. And so we pray on this afternoon that you would help us in Indianapolis, all of us to be unified and help our governing officials to be unified. We pray that out of that unity, you will command the blessing. According to Psalm 133, your word said, behold, how good and perfect it is, how good and pleasant it is for us to dwell together in unity. And we desire that. Deliver us from cruel and unreasonable people and help us to continue working for the peace of the city. For your word said in Jeremiah, when the city has peace, we will all have peace. In Jesus' name, amen. Well, we have some wonderful folks in the studio with us on today, and they are our first in-studio guest. Shay's on the controls. She's one of the best, y'all. She's getting it done and always a pleasant attitude, and that makes a difference. So you can call us at 317-480-1310, 317-480-1310. Did I get it right? So I got it memorized now. There is truth to getting stuck in a rut. That's a pithy saying in America. And I was interested in that. I have an inquisitive mind. And so I wanted to know what that was all about. And literally, the way our brains work, scientists studied our brains. And so your brains can get a rut in them when they study it. And they're kind of like rows and ruts, if you will, and they're patterns of memory. And so when you memorize something, it kind of actually creates that in your brain. And so when we say people get stuck in a rut, it kind of shows that in your brain where you have these paths of memory. And so that now is rooted in my brain, 317-480-1310, 317-480-1310. So I don't have to look somewhere to find it. If you want to be part of the show on stage, you can be by giving us a call. And it's a beautiful studio here. The upgrades and all of the remodeling was just absolutely fantastic. We have a beautiful place here now. It was nice before. And as I told you last week, I've been coming down here for almost 30 years now. We were just down the hallway from this studio. And remember Amos Brown and Willie Frank Middlebrook and all the great people who have either been behind the microphone or on the controls. And now here we are in this beautiful, beautiful corner studio. You know, when you get the corner studio, that's the good one.
You know, you've made it.
Right. So here we are. Want to welcome Kate Sweeney Bales back with us on today. Welcome to the studio.
Thank you, Pastor Jackson. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, you're our first in studio guest.
Well, hopefully I won't be the last, and I don't lose out on any more invitations.
You won't. And it's nice to be face to face with folks. You've been on the phone with us, and we have been vigorously hammering this whole voters education. And you've brought someone with you. We have powerful guests with us. I'll let you introduce them here in just a few moments. But talk to us about what's going on and why are we continuing to talk about the importance of, one, being registered to vote, two, making sure you get out to vote?
It's so important that we have talked so often about the power that your listeners have, that anyone who is registered has this awesome and amazing power, and very often they don't realize it. But one thing that is so concerning is when election day rolls around, somebody wants to come and cast their ballot, but they're not registered. In some states, they have same day registration. It's almost instantaneous. In Indiana, you have to be registered uh, by April 6th in order to vote in the May primary. Now, the good news here is that you don't have to register for every election. You're one and done. Once you register, you are registered until you change your name or if you move. And then you have to update that information. But if people don't register ahead of time, they're not going to be able to exercise that power.
Mhm.
And to give the voters a chance, or the people who want to be voters a chance, it takes a lot of education. And that's why we've been having these conversations, because an educated community is an empowered community.
Mhm. And we've heard, Kate, over the last several years, we're a generation of folks, unlike some before us, about election integrity. There have been a lot of challenges about the elections stolen, and all that sort of thing. How important is election integrity, and your thoughts on that?
Well, I think that it is vital. I think that if people believe that the system isn't working for them, or that it is corrupt in some way, shape, or form, then they're not going to participate. And it is vital that the citizens of this city, this state, this nation know that the dedicated professionals in the election area take it very seriously, and they are under attack for political purposes. And we understand politics isn't everything. It's in the police department, it's in government, it's
In the home.
yeah, absolutely. It is, but when you talk about elections, preserving that right is paramount to me, to my staff, and to anyone in the elections arena.
All right, and we want to make sure that those of you who are listening can be part of that process and know that your vote counts. And that's something that we've talked about, Kate, in the past. A lot of people say, well, I'm not going to vote because I don't think my vote matters. And especially when, if a person is a Democrat and then Republicans win, or if a person is a Republican and Democrats win, people feel some kind of way, feeling and thinking that their vote doesn't count, but it does.
It absolutely does. And here in Marion County, it's about a 60-40 split. Sometimes those numbers change a little bit, and that's a much different change from years past. But it's about 60% Democrat, 40% Republican, average. Different areas, those numbers uh, alternate. And across the state, this is a Republican state right now, but that doesn't mean that the people who get elected don't represent each and every person. It is the majority's responsibility to protect the minority. And that is true with elected officials too. They can't just represent the people who they think voted for them. They have to do their best for everyone.
And there's a lot of folk who want to serve now. I think
Oh, yeah.
there's a lot of people who file to run for office. Is that exciting down where you all are working?
It is. It keeps us busy. We had over 1,200 individuals file for office.
That's a lot,
That's a record number.
really.
And it is, they were filing for elective office, so uh, clerk, um, uh, township offices, And also state offices. There were a lot of filings. Those happened elsewhere, but we also had Republicans file for state delegate, and we had Democrats file for state delegate and precinct committee person. Republicans run their precinct committee person elections in presidential primaries. Democrats do it in midterm primaries. So there were a lot of familiar faces coming into the office for me because people I've known over the years and, hey, how you doing? Oh, I just came to file my paperwork. That's great. Welcome.
That's healthy.
It is. When you have more voices, sometimes they're not necessarily in tune with one another, but you let elected officials know what is important and people saying, hey, this matters to me and I have something to say.
So run, those of you who are listening.
Well, run down the road because that filing deadline is passed. But yes,
The future.
be involved, get involved, have some skin in the game.
Yeah. And especially if you have issues with what's going on and you want to see change, you can actually be part of that change if you run for office.
And even those who run for office and do not come in first place, the people who do come in first, the good leaders, in my opinion, take what they have learned and what they have experienced and say, okay, this is something that maybe wasn't on my radar that was important, and I pulled a challenger, and now, well, I'm gonna think about it and consider it and maybe change some things going forward.
Yeah. You learn a lot about yourself
Oh,
when you run for office.
yes, you do. You learn who you can count on also.
Yeah. All right, y'all. We've got much more to talk about when we come back. Kate will introduce us to our esteemed guest on this afternoon, who will be sharing with us some very, very important information, serving as Chief Deputy of Voter Registration for Marion County and Chair of the Wayne Township Board, overseeing the integrity and accessibility of local elections while also leading township efforts that support residents through poor relief services, budgeting oversight, and fire safety protections. You don't want to miss it. We'll be back after this.
Yeah, especially when you say it sounds really important. So it is. When they bring you up. Well, I'm probably altogether maybe 5 years. It was that 5 years in doing the county 2 years ago, and started my second.
Looking for a podcast that delves into the intricacies of love and relationships? Look no further than Dear Future Wifey. Whether you're single or in a relationship, this podcast is the perfect place to engage in thoughtful discussions about relationships. Join us on a journey of exploration and recovery as we explore the world of love and discover the secrets to successful relationships. Tune in every week for new episodes on the Urban One Podcast Network. Go to urbanonepodcast.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
Since 1853, Indianapolis Public Schools has been the heart of this community. We've powered a stronger Indianapolis, helping students become scientists, lawyers, doctors, educators, and more. We're offering new STEM and athletic programs, and we're modernizing facilities in every neighborhood. We're building partnerships across the city, strengthening workforce connections, and improving reading scores for every student. When you choose IPS, you're choosing more than a school. You're choosing a community that's investing in your child's future. Choose IPS. We're here for you.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly, and you want to get into that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts, call me, and I'll send you our time direction. Absolutely free. And stop your house, I'm sure, and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-838-2626. That's 800-838-2626. Here at Urban One, we pride ourselves on supporting local and national Black-owned businesses throughout all of our radio markets. Since we began our Buy Black campaign, we like to spotlight some familiar and unfamiliar businesses in our communities.
There
From
are
arts and crafts,
hospitals
restaurants,
in the
food and apparel, heating, technology, electrical. One thing is true.
Trustee,
Black type of business
Darlene Graves is
need,
the
want, or could imagine.
I would say
Let's show
Charlie
love to all local and The National Black-Owned Business Association is money with the Black-owned business. You are helping your community as well as helping yourself. The businesses for this week are Movie Company offering free estimates. Call today 317-384-2280. Biggs Movie Company does it all. 15 seconds and we're back on. Selling service in Indianapolis, ceramic coating, window tinting, paint correction, and more. 7specialtytailing.com. Nettie's Learning Academy is a play-based caring environment for childcare in McCordsville. Tour Nettie's by calling 317-927-5093. Nettie's Learning Academy, where children have the right to learn and play at their own pace.
All right, we're back in a beautiful, absolutely beautiful, immaculate studios of AM 1310 95.1 The Light Indigo. Praise Indie Studios. That's a lot, right? But we're here, and our next guest sits in a powerful lane because their work touches both election access, integrity, and local government service delivery in Marion County. The Board of Voters Registration oversees voter registration, and the Marion County Election Board oversees elections at the township level in Indiana. Township boards help adopt the budget, oversee finances, money, and support core township functions, including in assistance and fire-related oversight. So if you wanted to have some questions about getting help in any of those areas, the subject expert is in the building. Kate, who'd you bring with you?
Brian Chatfield joins me today. And Brian and I have known each other for years in the political space. And now that he is working with voter registration and I am the clerk, we are peas and carrots. And the work that we do impacts all of the registered voters in this county. So it is vital that we have such a strong relationship. And just like we have a bipartisan board, the Marion County Board of Voter Registration is also bipartisan. I did not invite them.
Brian, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate the opportunity.
You're welcome. How long you been doing this?
So I've been doing this work, like I said, Kate and I go back probably 10 years. I've been involved in some form of fashion in politics for over 20 years now.
And so thank you for your service.
Thank you.
It's not easy work.
Absolutely. But it's needed.
And off air, we were just talking about, and I perceive based on some of the things you've been involved in, that you have a passion for the poor.
Yes.
And Jesus said, the poor you always have with you. And therefore, I think that there always should be some kind of program. Not everybody believes that. That there always should be some kind of program in our society to help poor people. And sometimes people think, well, you know, folks ought to be able to pull themselves up by their own bootstraps and teach people how to fish and all that sort of thing. But sometimes people have challenges. Sometimes people have, there's a book called Black Swan, and that represents things that come up in life that we didn't prepare for. And people should read that book. It's a life-changing book, Black Swan. And there's an audio book out about it. But, and so they end up in situations that they didn't prepare for. But your office is there to help people when they fall on hard times. But one of the things, before we get to the poor relief, and I was just saying that because
Sure.
I admire your passion that you have for the poor. That's so important to have folks like you. But protecting access to the ballot, why are we still talking about that in the 21st century?
I think what's important, particularly in the 21st century, just like this building we're in, there's a lot of technology, a lot of accessible technology to millions of people who aren't all necessarily experts. But now we live in an age where anyone with a telephone and a mic becomes election experts. And so I think in this time it's very critical to have, that's why I enjoy your show, because you have
Thank you.
elected officials who serve in these roles like Kate, who can tell you what's actually happening on the ground. And so with so much going on in national news, I think sometimes the lower offices, local elections get a little overlooked. And I think that's unfortunate for the people that we're trying to serve the most.
And the service out of your office, let's talk about that. How do you, on a daily basis, your office and folks who are around you, how do you all serve folk every day?
So on the voter registration side, as Kate said, our job is to make sure that the voter record, in short, is correct. So I encourage every voter who's listening today to go on IndianaVoters.com, check your voter registration, make sure that it's updated. If you've moved, your name has changed, make sure that's is up to date. As we said earlier, April 6th is the voter registration deadline. And so on a day-to-day basis, our office is basically receiving online applications from Indiana Voters Registration. So we work closely with the Indiana State Secretary of Office on those things, as well as you can update your voter registration at the BMV. Those records are sent over to us as well. We check for verification. If we see any discrepancies on our end, we operate where we're calling voters, we're communicating by letter. We want to make sure that before they get to Kate, that their voter registration is correct, they're registered in the right place, and that their office can now provide them with a proper ballot. So we're very involved in the pre things that happen leading up to the election. So we play a role in making sure voters are dispersed in the right sections as it relates to our district maps as well. So as Kate said, we have to have a very strong relationship with the election board to make sure everything runs smoothly and we meet our ultimate goal that everyone, regardless of who you're voting for, and what issues and concerns you have, that you have access to that ballot.
And what are some of the challenges people are facing or anxieties people have now with regard to having that access? What are some of the misnomers out there that kind of get around that make people think that I'm not going to be able to vote or my vote is going to be suppressed?
Well, I think education is, I'm glad you asked that question because education is very important as it relates to what's the laws and rules and regulations concerning your particular county and your area, because there's different standards and voting standards all across the country. So for as Marion County, it's very, I think one of the challenges that we're receiving the general public receives so much information, and I believe it's very hard for them to really identify key pieces that impact their particular life. And so, as I said earlier, I think it's very important for local politicians, elected officials to continue to educate people on how those offices impact them directly. So it's kind of cutting through the noise, I think, is one of the largest challenges that I see.
There is also, and has been proven in studies. I first heard about this at the National Urban League, and they did a paper about election interference. And that election interference was, and you can probably guess the countries I'm going to name: Russia, China, Iran. And you think, how can they interfere? Well, that was my question. And they did it through social media. They'd go Facebook, and I mean, even these platforms that I'd never heard of. Reddit, well, I have heard of Reddit. I mean, I don't live in a cave. Instagram, and what they do, they become friends. They find, they have these vast office complexes, people sitting at computers pretending to like pictures of kittens.
Yeah.
And then if you like pictures of kittens, or certain religious phrases, and then they
Build relationship.
build relationships and then drop these seeds of hatred. That's just an easy way to say it. And here you are, you're nobody's fool. We're not gonna fall for that. But you have a what you think is a friendship with somebody online, and they're saying, at least at the time when I was hearing about it with this National Urban League, Hillary Clinton hates Black people. Well, I mean, but it was over and over and over, and it was dropped by people who had weaseled their way into an online community.
Yeah.
Right. Kind of
Propaganda.
Right.
Yes, and nobody wants to think that they could fall for something like that, and almost all of us at some point could, or, well, I hope not to, but it pays to be vigilant, and it pays to do some digging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have all kind of crafty ways of trying to gain our confidence. I remember when emails got more personal, and you used to be you get an email that was more general. Now they use your first name.
Right.
So
Yep.
just like at Starbucks, you feel the kind of way they say, "Hey, James, welcome back."
Oh, you know me.
You'd be like, me, and it kind of triggers something inside of you. And so when you have this online, and a lot of our seniors get tricked,
Right.
unfortunately, into some of these things. So you were going to say something.
Oh, no, that point just made me think about former U.S. Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice said that one of the biggest challenges facing America was cybersecurity, and I think she said that probably 15, maybe 20 years ago, and that just stuck with me. And now we're here.
She was right, it's real, and the budget has been cut.
Yeah.
So the federal office that handled that is no longer handling it, and it is up to the states with a little bit of federal assistance thrown in here or there, but that is true of interference or even natural disasters
Right.
that happen during election season.
Yeah. It's hard to keep up with.
It is.
They're like the Borg on Star Trek.
Yep.
Well, that's our job. Brian and I are supposed to pay attention to that. Our staffs are, and we do.
Yeah.
And when we have to raise the alarm, we do it. There are a lot of things that get thwarted. There are a lot of, even earlier this week, just for the city of Indianapolis, there was a major attack that they believe originated from Iranian sources. And they got a lot going on. We talked about that
Yeah.
last week. But they still have operatives who are working to disrupt so they can get paid.
Yeah. So you have to be careful out there, emails, text messages, be careful what you open. Don't share any of your personal information, although it's probably being shared by other agencies,
Right.
but you don't have to share it. And every time you open something, they're going to see something.
Yeah, we had earlier this week, there were a couple of scams with text messages, and we had people coming to our office to pay for toll road
Hmm.
fees and fines that we felt for these folks and put out information that no, we are not going to text you to bring cash anywhere. That's
Yeah.
that's not how it works. So if somebody has a question, whether it is voter registration related or election related, or they hear something that sounds fishy, reach out to us,
Please.
call us, and we will tell you the truth.
Yeah. Call the source.
Absolutely.
And how can they do that?
For the voter or for the election board, they can call 317-327-5100. or they can go online to vote.indy.gov.
Vote.indy.gov, and that phone number again,
317-327-5100.
one more time.
327-5100. You were talking about the phone number earlier, the 480.
Yeah.
It's the cadence, which
Yeah.
if you say 48013, it throws everybody up. You gotta say it right.
Exactly.
327-5100 for the election board.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, we got a lot more to talk about to our most important folks in the city, you, the voter. We're gonna talk more about that, and also what happens when you vote in the primaries. And it's so important that you do that. A lot of people don't vote in primaries. They wait until the general election. But it's important that every time there's an opportunity to vote, that you do. And it's a privilege for all of us to do so, especially Black folks. We'll be back with more after this. All right. Say hello to our team.
Hey, boy.
Do you get a lot of, how many calls do you get on average per show? Does it vary?
Depends. Depends on the time.
Does the weather play a role? I wonder if more people listen during.
Fumble Family was cracking, man. It's your guy, Rodney Rakai.
And I'm Samaria Terry. And this is The Fumble, brought to you by Urban One Podcast.
Now, we talk about more than scores and stats, though. We're breaking down the stories, the culture, and the energy that make being a fan absolutely.
Plus, we chop it up with your favorite athletes, celebrities, and insiders to give you the stories you won't hear anywhere else.
So make sure you lock in with us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. You heard?
And don't forget to follow and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.
Gardening season is just around the corner. Get a jump start on your garden with quality Burpee seeds and Menards. Choose from over 400 varieties of flower, vegetable, and herb seeds. On sale now. It's the perfect time to plant seeds indoors and have them ready for spring. Start your garden off right and save big money on Burpee seeds. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on
You got some
Menards.
regulars, right?
Deals happening now.
Think Verizon is expensive?
Look,
Think again.
I've got them.
Anyone bringing their AT&T or T-Mobile bill to a Verizon store today,
I remember.
they'll give you a better deal. So bring it to
You know,
walk in, run in, pogo stick in, teleport if you can. Ride on the back of a rollerblading yak or flying on the wings of a majestic falcon. Any way you can, bring your AT&T or T-Mobile bill to a Verizon store today, and we will give you a better deal on
Very
the best network.
I mean, he says some things that are out of this world. But he has, I mean, he will drop his nuggets.
I work here. I work here.
Here.
I work here.
I work here.
We all work here.
He's an amazing artist.
Yeah.
He does
We'll
stay
be back in 30 seconds. Together to create the best information and entertainment around. And right now, we're looking for someone to join the family. We have a sales assistant position available.
That's
If you
good.
got
that's
media
good.
and entertainment, we want to talk to you. Apply now at radio1.com/careers. Yep. One is the equal opportunity employer.
Right. Yeah, sometimes it is true. Absolutely. All right, let it be written and noted and memorized that my first in-studio guest were folks talking about voters registration, voters education. Kate Sweeney Bell and Brian Chetwin with us today. And so that is very, very special. Our first in the brand new studio. Very first one. So that's significant. And I value that. I'm going to go to Bob here. Hey, Bob, welcome to the program.
James, can you hear me okay?
Loud and clear.
Backing up to your opening segment, Carroll Road is in Marion County. It is the former East County Line Road. And so Carroll Road is Marion County.
Thank you.
It's the east border, okay? Primarily visible there around Cumberland, I believe. Anyway, I've heard your guest mentioned at least 2 or 3 times in the last 30 minutes or so. Marion County Election Board.
Yes.
Who are the members of this board? You can do this off the air if possible. Also, I was listening to a program on this very same radio station earlier this week, or maybe last weekend, or somewhere around that time frame. And there was concern from somebody apparently about where they had filed to run for an office, and this came up and that came up, and they were disqualified, and whoever, whenever, whatever. Okay.
Mhm.
People need to realize and accept the fact that there's a bipartisan Indiana Election Commission Board that sets the rules for filing and election procedures and this and that, and that is not the respected county clerk that does that. Okay, I think that point is correct.
Well, let me.
The county clerk does not set any election laws in the state of Indiana. That is done by a bipartisan Indiana Election Commission Board, and also I believe the Secretary of State has been involved in that too. So I don't know why people always have to, throw rocks at a respected county clerk, because they ain't got nothing to do with it at all. I'll leave it at that. I'll take my answers off the phone. Have a great weekend, folks.
Thanks, Bob. You too.
Actually, it's not the Indiana Election Commission that sets the law. It's the Indiana General Assembly. The legislature determines what is in its Title III is the part of state law that governs elections. The Indiana Election Commission and the Indiana Election Division help put together information and programs that help educate county clerks. And as for the bipartisan Marion County Election Board, I am, by virtue of my position, I'm the secretary of the board. The chair is Nolita Stewart, who is appointed by the Marion County Democratic Party, and Jennifer Ping is the Republican appointee appointed by the Marion County Republican Party.
All right, thank you.
Mhm.
And that Carroll Road, so we want to get some folk out there as soon as possible. It's really bad out there on Carroll Road. So be careful, y'all, especially at night. Pay attention both ways. Anyway, Laura, welcome to the program, Laura.
Good afternoon, everyone. I have a question. I have met some seniors in substance abuse recovery homes who have never voted. And so I've been talking with them about voting, and they've not ever registered. And so they said, if I can get them registered, they'll vote. But a couple of them are not able to come out. So do they believe? My question is, have they taken away the? They used to have where they would come to seniors to vote. I can't remember what they called it, like a mobile team or something like that. Do they still have that?
We do. It's the traveling board, and it's a way for individuals who are confined to have and need a little bit of assistance, or any voter who needs extra assistance. A bipartisan team comes to them to help them cast their ballot, and then brings it back to our service center.
Okay. Now, would I be able to just get them the registration form to get them registered, because they've never registered, or is there something else that has to happen?
Right, they can register if they have access to the internet and they have an Indiana ID card or a driver's license, they can register online. Otherwise, you can come to our office or the voter registration office, which we're right across the hall from each other at the city county building. Pick up those forms, or you can even print that federal form online. You can get it online, print it off, fill it out, and bring it into the Board of Voter Registration. As well, you can fill out an application to vote by traveling board.
By traveling board. Okay, I know two of them won't be able to come downtown. So, and neither one of them have internet. They could do it from my phone or from my computer, but I don't know if that would cause a conflict as far as my email address for them.
No, it would just come to the election board or voter registration. And you can get a lot more information if you call 317-327-5100. We've got some amazing staff who are able to walk you through each and every step and the deadlines, because we are, there's still a little bit of time, but I know that working those things out takes some effort. So you have about a month in order to get it done, to register them. And the travel board, we will go up almost to election day with our bipartisan teams that go out around the county to help voters cast their ballots.
Awesome. Glad I called.
Yeah, so am I. Thank you.
Aren't you?
And the work that you're doing for them.
Absolutely. I can't believe they, at 60s, almost 70s, they have never voted, never
Wow.
registered. So, and they can't be the only 4, there's got to be many more. So,
Yeah, we want to help anyone who wants to vote. There are almost 1 million people who live in this county. We have over 650,000 registered voters. Nowhere near that amount casts a ballot every election, but we're ready for them every single election. And we are hopeful that they're going to show up and come participate in this most important celebration of democracy.
absolutely. And each one helps one to get to that number that you're looking for.
Right,
So don't
yes.
one is not enough. Because if you get one, then maybe we'll get another one and another one. So,
Well, it sounds like you are an advocate for people who need advocates. So thank you.
yeah, absolutely. Thank you for all the work that you continue to do. Appreciate you.
Well,
Thank
thank you for your call and comment. We appreciate you.
If you don't mind, just use this as a segue, as a shameless plug, that I also assist the election board in recruiting staff to assist in working traveling board. If you are one of those residents that are registered and you want to play your hand in actually assisting people during early voting, you can contact either one of our offices and get connected in that way as well.
I think Laura raises a very important question because there's probably, she said, those 4 is probably more. And if those of you who are listening know seniors who have never voted before and who want to, but they're confined and can't get out, there is a solution for that problem so that they can be a part of the voting process too. And I think they would be very excited to be part of that process. 317-480-1310, 317-480-1310 is the number to call this afternoon. We got a little bit of time left. If you would like to ask some questions of Kate and Brian on this afternoon about voting, any question at all whatsoever, they are prepared to answer. They are the subject experts in the studio today. We got to take a quick break. We'll be back after these messages.
Thank you.
Maybe. But you gotta have their ID. Sometimes for seniors.
Yeah, I can do it. Some kind of one on the driving. And it could be the time.
This Lenten season, Praise It Day invites you on a powerful 40-day journey from ashes to victory. Ash Wednesday, we'll walk with you from reflection to resurrection. 1 week, one word, one breakthrough at a time. Surrender, trust, healing, discipline, sacrifice, and the victory we celebrate during Holy Week. Each day, join us for live devotionals, scripture, encouragement, and music that speaks directly to your spirit and share your heart on our digital print as we grow together in faith. This Lent,
Require
let God
there's a
transform
last word
your
social.
from
You could use that,
ashes
but
to
then you
victory.
have to show
Only on Praise, AM 1310 and 95.1 FM, Indy's inspiration station.
expired before a
Hey,
federal.
what's going on? It's me, Ariana Beatty, Mirror Indie Community Journalist Director. Housing is a major issue in our city. The rent is too
Travel
high, only
goes
getting.
out
That's
to
why
go
I
people
invited you to our
who
next
who
chat.
need extra assistance.
Hear from
So
a
people
housing
who are
attorney,
disabled
get your free
or
guide to
unable,
understanding
or
eviction. It's
people
going
who
down
can't
Tuesday,
really,
March
who are
24th,
unable
6 to 7:30 p.m.
fill
at
out
North
just a
United
mailing.
Methodist Church, 3808 North Meridian Street. Chad and Chew Housing Edition, Tuesday, March 24th, 6 p.m. at North United Methodist
We
Church.
do, we
right
go,
off 38 Meridian.
we've got teams that go to nursing home facilities.
Did you hear?
To
Allstate
individual.
car insurance now costs even less. So when you bundle with home, you can save even more. Check Allstate first to bundle and save with a new lower auto.
15 seconds and we're back.
Allstate. Not available in every state. Only applicable for new auto insurance business. Rates will vary by several factors, including how you purchase the policy. Potential savings may vary. Allstate North American Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Because people in jail.
All right, they say time flies when you're having fun. And we're almost out of time. We got Guy on the line here. Welcome to the program, guys.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I just wondered, it seems that from various sources across the country, you have people throwing shade at our elections process. They seem to always indicate or at least put questions in people's minds that the election process is not secure. I wonder, is there like a national association of county clerks or something that could come out with statements to counteract this? Do you know what I mean? Like in other words, it seems that there's a constant barrage lately of trying to put in voters' minds that their vote is not secure.
Well, Guy, there are associations and organizations who have countered this false narrative that has been put forth by multiple entities and individuals. And we have almost cried until we are blue in the face to say, what we do is there is sunshine shining down on what we do. We don't do it in the darkness and in secret. And we do it with a bipartisan team, and we do it with bipartisan teams of people who are looking at the ballots and touching the ballots. And that is true across the nation. It's just a convenient lie to put fear into people and for, as you said, these bullies to try to get their way. And there are many voices who are shouting out, but it's a lot less interesting for people to listen to the defense very often.
Yeah, maybe there could be like a regular update through the media about the good things that the county clerks are doing in terms of the election. Maybe, you know what I mean? Maybe every 2 or 3 weeks or something up until the election.
Hey, I sure would support that. Be involved, be invested, and when you hear something, it's all right to say, you know, that doesn't sound right, and I'm going to check it out, and I'm going to let you know that this source, as Brian talked about, somebody with a portable microphone and a cell phone who calls themselves an expert and that they know what's going on. A lot of times they just want the attention. And if this is something that is convenient for them, then they're gonna shout it as much as they can. So I'm glad that you're not one of the people who is falling for that foolishness.
And I hope we can have more people understand, because it's really very, very important. I mean, you know, you're talking about the power is government. Really, that's what you're talking about, and it's so important. And I guess that's why they
some people continue to put in people's minds that it's not secure. But as I say, I think the good things that the clerks are doing in terms of elections should be brought out, maybe more. Maybe that would help.
Yeah, of the 92 counties across the state, I will say I'm one of 6 Democrats who is an elected county clerk. The others are Republicans, and we have some very different ideas on, which direction our association should go. But when it comes to voting, I don't question the integrity of any of them, regardless of our political differences, because and that's me saying that about these Republicans, and they're winning across the state, but election administrators have integrity like no one I've ever seen.
Maybe Pastor Jackson could help in terms of spreading that message that you just said.
Yeah, every Saturday. Every Saturday, 12 to 1.
maybe through the Indianapolis Star or something, headline or something.
We're doing that here so far, Guy, and you're right. Public service announcements would also help because it is true. If it's out of sight, most times it is out of mind. And some of these things people don't think about until May and November. But we need to be thinking about it year round. Thank you for your call and comment. Appreciate it.
Yeah, when you're in the election space, you want boring elections. Now, some challenger, they want all the excitement and drama, but when you're administering elections, you don't want surprises. You need to be prepared for them. But a boring election with a whole room full of reporters with microphones in your face, if you don't have that, you have succeeded. If you have let the people who wanted to vote and counted those votes accurately, that's the job.
All right, Brian, any closing remarks?
No close. Well, I will say, it being Women's History Month, I'd like to give a quick little shout out to some important women in my life. One being my mom, Dora Williams, and my wife, DeWanda Chatfield, and a host of I can't name all my women mentors, but Kate Spinney Bell being one, our current county clerk, Mala Eldridge, city county council president, Maggie Lewis, and Valerie Houghton, one of my earlier mentors out of Bloomington, Indiana, who served as judge. I just like to thank those women for what they've imparted in myself.
All right, that'll be the last word. We're out of time. Thank you, Kate, for being here with us on this afternoon. Thank all of you. Thank you, Shay, for flying us through this broadcast on today. Until next time, from all of us here at AM 1310 95.1 FM, Praise Indy. We like you, we love you, and you make us smile. Have a great day. Good job, y'all.
Hey,
Great vote.
if I had $1 million for every time we talked about